Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get More Clients. I'm your host, Lynn. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to ignite winning sales because most are chasing down leads, lack client retention, conversion, and profits. The mission of this show is to educate, inspire, and motivate women around the world to build a robust sales strategy to get more clients because most can't get more clients and haven't a clue why. You'll learn to transform thinking to the client's perspective, eliminate the lengthy, chaotic sales cycle to ignite your sales and unleash lasting profits. You'll also have the opportunity to connect with me further and to see how I can support you beyond today. Here is one of my Fortune 500 secrets revealed. While I was working with a huge multi-million-dollar account, they shifted the marketing materials to the purchasing department. So this created significant internal friction. So between the departments and for their suppliers, and I decided to be the bridge, maintaining my partnership with the marketing department and forging a new relationship with the purchasing group. After meeting with the purchasing manager, asking questions and listening 80% of the time, I discovered the purchasing department had no clue about commercial printing and about how to purchase that product and service. And they had no idea what they were buying at all. I mean, it was, like deer in the headlights. And of course, they did not want to fail in this new assignment. I offered to provide in-depth training to the purchasing team. And the manager leapt at the offer like a drowning man reaching for a life preserver. He was immediately proactive about setting up the earliest date possible, clearing the schedule for him and his team, and reserving an entire day for the training. Now, I didn't have a lot of time, but in that interim, I pulled together resources and assets to deliver a thorough, engaging, and wow experience for the purchasing team, creating a comprehensive training, guide, tools, and examples. Not only did each team member receive their own training package, there were additional sets for future team members. Now, I flew in, and during that day, I made sure the entire team was fed and hydrated with a myriad of delicious choices. The training was divided into segments with individual and partner exercises along with bonus rewards. Now, it happened to be St. Patrick's Day. And by the end of that day, I had bonded with the entire team. We just had such a great experience of working together and going through the training, and they felt confident and they were ready to take on their new role purchasing the marketing materials. And at the end of that day, they invited me out to their St. Patrick's Day party, which was already planned. Now, this was really so much fun. It was just a hoot. And while I don't recall the details of the training, I'm never going to forget the singing and the laughter at the Irish pub that evening. And it was just that connection that I would never forget. And it turned out to be that beginning of a long and strong business relationship. Now, last week, I shared fascinating and daring LinkedIn tips while never spam. And today, I'm going to reveal 4 tips to build presentations that rock and embrace you. Presentations are an invaluable opportunity to relate to your audience, demonstrate your knowledge, and move your conversation forward. The outcome of your presentation is to establish the convergence of your objections and how you benefit your client so they can. By the end of today's show, you will know how to think like your client to craft a winning presentation, when to lean into your audience motivations and emotions, and the 4 B's at the heart of a great presentation. Now, regardless of the type of presentation, this could be a summit, a training, a proposal meeting, any other format that you are speaking at. This is an opportunity for you to strengthen your professional and personal relationship with the audience. People buy from people, people they like, know, and trust. Presentations are the bridge to a deeper relationship and momentum to guide a sales decision. My favorite topic, of course, is client thinking. It is the core of your sales strategy. So as we dive into this, let's talk about how many different types of presentations there are. I already mentioned summits. Well, you could also do a masterclass. It could be either live or recorded. You could do a presentation for a product or service. And this could be for a group. It could be for a very small group of 1 to 2 people or for a larger boardroom size group. You could be speaking at an event or have a keynote presentation. It could be a training session like the story I provided you at the beginning. You could be a guest on a podcast. You're speaking and you're making a presentation about what you do and your knowledge, and you're sharing your expertise. So the list goes on and on. It's basically anytime you're talking in front of the audience. And in this case, presentations that I'm talking about, they may or may not include slide decks or other materials. And while they are most effective when they're delivered live and in person, it's not always practical or an available option. The crucial factor is proper planning to derive your desired outcome. And the best place to start is to revisit your client thinking exercise. Now, you know, I've been talking about this a lot, and you can go back and revisit that episode, the original client thinking episode. But your client's perspective shifts along their client journey. So ask yourself these questions at this stage of your client relationship. What do they want, need, or lack? Why does this matter to them? And at this point in your interaction, what concerns and monetizable pain points has the client revealed? Do you have more clarity or customization around the so they can? So this client thinking refresh exercise will become the foundation of your presentation. Your audience needs to relate and project themselves into your solution presented. What's in it for them to attend and be attentive? You must answer why it matters to them so they can. So they can what? What's the outcome? So let's talk about tying in now. Let's move to audience motivations and emotions. Because not only does your client thinking evolve along their journey, so do their motivations and emotions. So they could be moving from the initial motivation of being curious and understanding how this might help them with their business, perhaps to generate more revenue or fill gaps or holes, and also their emotions about where they're at in this process. Identify these shifts and how you can then incorporate this information into your presentation. Understanding your prospect's motivation allows you to position the presentation to meet their desires. By tapping into the emotions of your clients, you can make sure their presentation stands out. Harnessing a single emotion like happiness, sadness, anger, or fear helps your prospects pay attention, remember, and move forward with their buying decision for your product or service. Now, in my example of the story, there was a strong motivation of fear because this purchasing team needed to perform, and they needed to perform well in an area that they didn't have product or service knowledge. And so that was an underlying emotion that they had. And then they had a motivation, of course, that they wanted to do their due diligence and perform so that they could be generating the type of savings and revenue generation that would come out of doing their job as a purchasing department. So when you think about where they're at, how you tie that together. Now, there's also other emotions you want to tap into. Pride of a job well done, right? So think about more than just one, and how this bigger picture, how it's going to impact the presentation that you're delivering. Now, you can revisit our previous Get More Clients episodes as a refresher on your client thinking, motivations, and emotions. Now, let's get into the 4 Bs. At the heart of every great presentation are those 4 Bs, and they are: be prepared, be inspired, be brief, be gone. These are the building blocks to your Mission Possible presentation template, which enable your clients and prospects to picture success and try on where they want to be. There should be one key result from your client's point of view. You answer what's in it for them. What will they get to achieve, and what will it mean to them? It's that big dream and that outcome. In B2B sales, there are 3 levels of client need: company, department, and individual. And when you're looking at a B2C, this could be their family and the individual, right? The individual needs are the most important. This should always be in your line of sight. But I'm going to tell you, in a B2B situation, it can get tricky when the presentation is given to a group with multiple stakeholders and influencers. Preparation will enable you to better navigate and overcome these situations and tap into the unique motivations and emotions of the different people in the room. So let's go through each of the 4 Bs and how to stack them for a peak audience performance. Number 1, be prepared. All right. Preparation is the key to everything. It creates this confidence and assurance, and it also helps you if something goes a little bit sideways because you've done all the preparation and you can easily make a new decision and pivot. But let's go through being prepared. Thorough preparation is the cornerstone to delivering a great presentation. And while preparation does not guarantee success, failing to properly prepare is an opportunity missed. When presentations fall flat, it's highly attributed to the lack of not doing your groundwork and your homework. Investing the time to properly prepare will pay off big dividends. All right. Your preparation must start with your client thinking, motivations, and emotions. That's your foundation. They enable you to connect with your audience in a significant way. In addition, preparation activities will include determining the type, style, and purpose of your presentation, the level of interaction. You're going to be gathering notes, facts, and data, understanding your audience. You may need to be doing some work to debug the location, whether it's physical or virtual, obtaining support materials that you might need or you might want to be made available. And finally, practice, practice, practice. No matter where and when you're practicing, I'm going to tell you one of the things. I would actually practice my big presentations with my dad when he was just wonderful to listen. I miss him dearly now that he's passed, but we would go and book a room at the library and I'd go through my whole presentation and he would be my naysayer in the room. He'd ask me pointed questions and it was really great so that I could practice and be prepared. So bottom line, preparation equals confidence and assurance. And I'm telling you, you want to be there. All right, so let's go on to the second B, which is be inspired. The key to making an impactful, memorable presentation is to be high energy and engaging. A compelling presentation truly starts with you. Your enthusiasm, passion, and inspirational vision will resonate with your audience. By infusing genuine energy throughout your presentation, you create excitement with your audience, meaning that you're going to be remembered. I want you to think of this as infectious enthusiasm. And in my experience, grabbing my audience attention at the beginning is vital to a strong presentation. And a wow story is a great way to accomplish this. Now, an example of a wow story is my Pizza Ninja story at the beginning of the ghost busting episode of Get More Clients. And I try to include story throughout my presentations. I Get More Clients show is a presentation. So, other methods to deploy, including piquing the audience curiosity, are participating in an activity or a novel, unexpected experience to set the tone for your presentation. I want to let you know dry topics can be turned into powerhouse talks by engaging your audience throughout the presentation. Techniques include asking questions, selecting audience members to share thoughts, polling the audience, using pictures and video to visually stimulate and connect with the data. You can create more buzz than a triple shot espresso by using your hands, body, and voice to build and maintain attention and the sense of drama unfolding. Embrace the power of communication with your body language, keeping your audience connected, and make each member feel like you are speaking directly to them by making eye contact, nodding, and smiling. Motion equals action, and your motion adds import to your content and creates an atmosphere of excitement. While certain settings and venues may seem to be limiting, we're on a very small little Zoom screen here. Well, you can still adapt that to your space, okay? Along with hand and body movements, your voice and tone, and planned audience interaction, through all of that, you can add an element of fun. You also want to make your presentation memorable. High energy, as well as preparation and rehearsal, creates a memorable presentation and leaves a lasting impact. Provide your audience the inspiration to learn more and take the next step toward achieving their objectives. Your energy will encourage the audience to explore new possibilities, making your presentation a successful and enduring step in their sales journey. All right, number 3, be brief. During the presentation, stay on point while actively seeking interaction with your audience. Now, your audience is comprised of intelligent, capable individuals who will respond and answer the queries that evolve from the discussion. So, open-ended questions will drive engagement, and direct inquiries can reaffirm agreement you're on the same page. So, actively listening to pick up on nuances the client is communicating is really important. A key tip, of course, is to stay on track. Be mindful of the duration and respect your audience's time. If you're doing a proposal for a formal meeting, a presentation to a group or a boardroom, you want to make sure that you're very respectful of their time and you stay on point and have enough time at the end for the Q&A so they can get back to the next thing on their agenda. Now, if the conversation gets sidetracked, you want to pivot back to the subject at hand, and you may want to arrange a separate meeting with the appropriate stakeholders for any burning issue that's raised. And regardless of what kind of setting, you can easily set up a separate opportunity for office hours to go beyond for those people who have those questions and they want to get into the weeds. So as already highlighted, enthusiasm is contagious and you want your audience to catch it. Pay attention to any negativity creeping into the dialogue. And you just can never expect a positive income from bad actors behaving with negativity. So shift gears and get back on track for the objectives, of the presentation. You can answer those objectives quickly. You can table it to the end of the conversation, or once again, you can move it offline to office hours. At the end of the day, you're really getting back on track to meet the objectives of the presentation, the objectives of your audience. It's about the benefits you deliver so they can. With proper presentation, including practice and rehearsal, you can stay on pace. Respecting the time investment made by your audience demonstrates what it would be like working with you. One secret to a powerful presentation is framing the information into a bigger picture of what it means, speaking to that vision and engaging your audience to see themselves in the future outcome. All right, that's that client thinking so they can. Number 4 tip, be gone. After delivering a knockout presentation, do not allow the end to linger like a slow death. All right. During your conclusion, highlight and confirm the takeaways and action items for yourself and for the audience. If members of your audience want to continue the discussion, move it to a suitable location or time, pursue it at a break, or side table it to your office hours. Now, a bonus tip is to always incorporate a minimal actionable commitment at the end of your presentation. Close with this minimal actionable commitment from a decision maker, stakeholder, influencer, or the person who brought you in. Now, it of course depends on the type of presentation you're delivering. It could be that if you're delivering a presentation to someone else's Facebook group, you can let them know to DM you if you'd like to have a copy of the presentation deck or a special worksheet that they can use for the lessons learned, right? Or a checklist or a tip sheet. It's different for every situation. If you're in a board meeting, it's going to be getting that next appointment. What's the next step? What's the next logical step in getting that minimal actionable commitment? And this could be that scheduling of a follow-up conversation. It could establish obtaining whatever it is that you need to expect to obtain. You want to know what that is. You're going to establish the minimal actionable commitment that you expect, that you want to obtain prior to the presentation. That way you know what is that takeaway to be achieved. And you want to make 2 additional options, which can be stacked or used instead of your first choice. All right, so that's part of your planning. The significant element of a minimal actionable commitment is the client engagement and willingness to bring something to the table. If they're only showing up, they're not deeply involved. And they've got to have skin in the game to move an initiative and a sale forward. The minimal actionable commitment from the client should be reasonable and easy, okay? If there's too much heavy lifting, you're going to lose them. Ensure that you deliver your own takeaways accurately, completely, and on time. Always do what you say you'll do. Your follow-up and communication, they really are about your reliability, your credibility, and your trustworthiness. Always remember to end the presentation on the positive, a high note of excitement for next steps. Express your gratitude and appreciation of their time, and follow up within one business day with an email or call thanking each participant. Now, I have to tell you, there's so many ways that you're going to be able to automate some of your follow-up activities, depending on the type of presentation that you've done. If it's a speaking engagement, if you're on a summit, if you're on a podcast, there's so many different ways that you can do that. Some are going to be more passive than others, such as on a podcast. Of course, you're going to direct them at the end when the host asks you how people can get to know you or find you. You're going to direct them to that lead magnet. That is part of what you've just been sharing, your knowledge and your expertise, something that the audience is going to want to take them to that next step. If you're on the stage, it could be that you're going to have some materials at the back of the room or on all the different tables that are made available for them. And that could be tied, once again, to that presentation, that talk that you did. If you're on a summit, you could be providing them with that checklist, that tip sheet, a case study that they can access. Once again, it can be through a link that's dropped into the chat. So all of this is part of that planning, and it's part of what's in it for them And how are you going to move them forward to the next stage, the next step in their client journey? And that's why preparation is so critical. Now, another bonus tip here is that when you're wrapping up and you're doing the Q&A, before you start the Q&A, point out that you will reserve the last minute for a closing thought. That allows you to have that point where you can close the conversation so that you stay on time, but you get the last word. All right. It's absolutely brilliant. So take that into account and have that last word. So I'm going to go over some of the 4 B's that I incorporated in my story at the beginning. So think about the 4 B's. I really took into account the client thinking, what was going on with their emotions and their motivations, and I planned that day. And then I broke up the training into logical segments. I brought treats in the sense of coffee and food. I arranged to have boxed lunches brought in. I also engaged with planned engagement, where we actually used a whiteboard. I had already checked out what room we would be using and what was going to be available for me. So I had a whiteboard that I had pre-planned. I got there early, and I literally would have columns for the first exercise where we literally put people in teams and had a race where they had to go up and jot down their first thought about one of the things that related to the training. And it was a lot of fun. It got people up and out of their seats. It got them moving, and it created that action. And another thing was, after the lunch, it was really important to have an activity that really got everybody engaged and was fun, because, after lunch, that's like a killer. That first thing in the morning and the after lunch and the last thing of the day, those are the ones you have to have high activity if you're doing an all-day event, that people are really engaged and you get their blood pumping. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. And there's so many fun things you can do, but it's important because that's at those points that people are sort of the most sluggish. So keep that in mind with your preparation. So the secret to achieving your goals is focusing on your progress. When you do what you say you'll do, you earn the confidence and goodwill of your clients and prospects. You're moving them down the sales journey. Be mindful that while something that may seem small to you, it can be a really big deal to your client. All right. So when you fail to follow through as promised after a presentation or any other time, you weaken and degrade your own standing, and you prove yourself to be unreliable. Okay. Savvy clients and prospects work with strong vendors and individuals, partners. And when you relentlessly meet your commitments, you set yourself apart from your competitors. Following up promptly reinforces the goodwill you created and generated in your presentation and enables you to stay front and center with your prospect and client. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in. My purpose is for you to get more clients. Bottom line, don't make this harder than it has to be. Sales is a win-win. And on behalf of Petite to Queen, I've carved out a limited number of time slots to invite you to hop on and ignite your sales call with me to see what's working, not working, and what you would love to have working. I'm going to see how I might further support you in effectively generating more leads, converting more sales, and fulfilling on your promise as a brand and organization. The fastest way to success is to assure people know that they matter. And the best way to make that happen is to build a consistent sales strategy to acquire, convert, and capitalize on every lead. You will find growing your business is easy and lucrative. Today, I revealed 4 tips to build presentations that rock and embrace you. The key is for you to implement these steps to stop wasting your time, energy, and resources. You have the opportunity to jump in and get the support you need for true success. Say yes to you and get on a call with me. I am truly gifted at this, and you deserve the shortcut to your success with the right support. You can go to p2q.link/win-win. And you can get our Get More Clients programs at our website at petitetoqueen.com. You can find out more information there, and you can connect with me and stay on top of all of our insightful advice, our breakthrough advantages, and never miss an episode. Sign up for our weekly wisdoms newsletter at petitetoqueen.com. And next week on Get More Clients, I will share why speakers who try new things gain big rewards. I'll see you next week on Get More Clients.